And with the government hours from shutting down, we're joined now by Shelley Moore Capito, Republican senator from West Virginia. Thank you so much for your time, Senator.
Thanks,
Party
Linsey.
leaders on both sides of the aisle have long criticized government shutdowns, yet here we are again in a divided Congress. Is this brinkmanship the only way to pass policy, or would you call for more bipartisan cooperation?
Well, I think really, in my view, there's really only one clear choice here, and that's to keep the government open. We know that government shutdowns are chaotic, they're destructive, and we have, as Republicans, a bill that would continue the government for 7 more weeks with no bells and whistles attached. It's quite simply an extension so that we can then talk about more appropriations bills, whatever bipartisan issues we need to talk about, health care included.
What's the off-ramp here?
You know, that's an interesting question. The off-ramp to me is what happens in a government shutdown. Since I've actually experienced several in my tenure here in Washington, is people become very upset, as they should. Whether you're dependent on a government service, whether you're in the military, whether you're a border agent, whether you can't get a passport, you have trouble with your tax return, whatever it might be, those services are slimmed down if they're even in operation, and people begin to get very upset. And that, I believe, is when the logjam breaks. Hopefully, that we won't get to that point. That cooler heads will prevail here. That we'll realize the off-ramp is to keep the government open. During the Biden administration, the Democrats voted 13 times to keep the government open under these very same circumstances. That's what we should do. It worked then, it'll work now.
Are there any meaningful conversations happening today?
Absolutely. I mean, they're always happening, whether they're member to member or in the leadership suite. Those conversations are going on. I think that there are enough people to have a 60-vote majority that would prefer that we don't go down this route. Although I'm afraid, because of the political nature of what we're seeing here, it's going to be a strictly political vote, and that vote will fail.
You've noted that government shutdowns threaten services that West Virginians and Americans need. Democrats say that they are trying to protect health care subsidies. If Congress doesn't act, the nonpartisan health group KFF says premiums purchased under that Affordable Care Act will more than double next year. Roughly 51,000 West Virginians are enrolled in plans that would be affected. Are you concerned at all that they won't be able to afford health care by next year?
I'm absolutely concerned. 60,000 West Virginians get a subsidy for their premium support. That doesn't expire until December 31st. That begins a new year of premium support in January. We have time to work on this issue. We've been talking about this issue with our Democrat counterparts, with the president. I think the president is very interested in seeing that we reach a solution here. And so I think that what you're going to see is some kind of compromise, but we have to keep the government open while we reach and have those negotiated talks on premium support.
The head of the White House Office of Management and Budget said late today the administration has the authority to make permanent change to the bureaucracy if the government shuts down. He was talking about firing workers. Do you agree?
Well, I think he does. I think the president does have a lot of latitude here, because the government would be in a shutdown. I think he's speaking the truth. I think that that's another reason why we should keep the government open. And so, you know, why hand that power over to the president if you have a fear? I personally think that the president would act responsibly during these times, but if they're saying this is what they're going to do, I think one thing I know about the president, he does what he says.
Switching gears now, Secretary Pete Hegseth said today that his Department of War would no longer be the, quote, woke department. Let's listen to a portion of what he had to say.
Today, at my direction, each service will ensure that every requirement for every combat MOS, for every designated combat arms position, returns to the highest male standard only. Because this job is life or death.
Your reaction to Hegseth's comments today?
You know, the way I view what the Secretary Hegseth today is, you know, he wants to be lethal. The president wants a lethal force to act as a deterrent in case of aggressive actions by China or others. around the globe. And I think that's exceedingly important, and I think that's what he was addressing today.
Senator Shelley Moore Capito from West Virginia, so appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Linsey.